That's what my grandparents used to say. It's an old house. Okay, so I started working at Comcast Business. So every day I would go out and call on businesses and try to sell them Comcast services, right? And Comcast, the three services that Comcast sold were primarily internet service, phone service, and what else? What does Comcast sell? TV service, right? So those are the three main services that Comcast sells. So you can imagine. Now, first of all, when I first started working at Comcast, I was broke, okay? Y'all know what broke means? And I was broke because I just lost a lot of money in a previous business, but which motivated me to really work hard. So being broke is a good motivator, it's a big motivator. But I actually started working at Comcast and became one of the top 25 reps in the whole company because I needed some money, right? But every day, my boss trained us, and they had this playbook, and they said, listen, you got to call on 25 businesses a day, meaning I had to call them, cold call them, and try to set an appointment with them, right? And the goal was to set at least 3 appointments a day. So if I ran 3 appointments a day or 15 appointments a week, I would probably hit my quota, I'd meet my monthly goal, and I would make the company happy. Well, my goal was just to double that number, because I needed some money right away, right? So I would call on 50 people a day, I'd run 6 appointments a day, and I was just a hard worker. But what I found out was that calling on people that did not want to hear from you, it's called cold calling, it got kind of old, okay? Can you imagine picking up the phone every day and saying, hey, this is Bill from Comcast. I'd love to come out and share with you how we can save you money or some new promotions in your area. Click, rejection, right? So we all love rejection, don't we? We don't like rejection. So not only did it get old, but it's not as effective, okay? So, but what happened almost by accident was I started to, when I would close a deal or sign up a customer, I would inadvertently meet this company's IT person. So what happens is, a lot of companies these days don't have an IT person on staff. So what they do is they hire an independent IT company, and when they need something IT-wise, they just call on this company. And they may pay that company $1,000 a month, but it's much less than hiring an IT guy and having them on staff, right? So I would meet this company's IT person, and the IT guy would tell me, listen, I got 30 customers just like this, or I got 100 customers just like this. And I said, listen, well, when they need Comcast, why don't you just send me the business, refer me the business, right? So I started creating a couple of relationships like that. And after about 6 or 7 months, I started getting referrals every day. Okay, so no longer did I have to cold call. No longer did I have to knock on 25 doors a day, run these 3 appointments. My phone would ring, and I would just get business, okay? And so you can imagine my colleagues were looking at me. It looked like I was being lazy, but at the end of the day, I was working smart, right? Have you ever heard the term work smart, not hard? Y'all heard that before? Okay, so basically, that's exactly what I was doing. And I went to my boss one day, and I said, hey, listen, here's what I'm doing. I'm creating these relationships with these technology experts or these IT consultants, and they're sending me referrals. I said, why don't we try to create more relationships with the IT consultants? Doesn't that make sense? Because you're working smarter. It's more effective. It's built on relationship. And what do you think my boss said? You think he said no? You had a boss before, haven't you? What do you think my boss said? Said no? You think he was like, okay, go for it. I mean, I'm top 25 in the whole company, right? He told me to shut up, basically. He told me it's not going to work for everybody, it's not duplicatable, and we can't teach that, right? But that was kind of weird to me. So I said, okay, I'll keep knocking on doors every day and running these appointments, but at the same time, I'm still going to start meeting these IT guys. Every time I sign up a new customer, I'm going to ask him, who's your IT guy? Who's your IT guy? So I started meeting all these IT guys, and it just clicked for me that the way Comcast was doing business was pretty ineffective. And the attrition rate at our office was high because people didn't like the cold call. So people kept leaving. They'd come in, they work hard, then they'd leave and go try to do something else because it was just a tough job the way they structured everything. So after about 13 months of that, I decided that, listen, I'm going to start my own company because I realized that the strategy on how I wanted to build a business model, how I wanted to build my business was totally different. I love the industry. There's an enormous amount of growth and potential in the telecommunications or the cable industry. I wanted to stay in the industry, but I wanted to build a business a different way, with a different model. And one other thing that I realized was that at Comcast, you know, there were a lot of limitations on what I could do. As an employee, I only had territories where I could work. So they gave me 4 zip codes, and I could only sell in those 4 zip codes in Nashville. So you can imagine, I would go to a client, I sign up a client, let's say it was a restaurant, and he wants to open up a second location in Brentwood, Tennessee, which is not my zip code. Well, I couldn't even sign up this guy's new location, even though he liked me and I had the relationship. I had to give that deal to a colleague. So how do you think I felt about that? It's pretty ridiculous. On top of that, I had clients who had locations outside of the state of Tennessee. All right? So how many of you guys are not from Tennessee? Okay? So some areas in some states or cities, Comcast is not available, right? So it's another cable company like Spectrum or Time Warner or Cox Cable, right? Or Mediacom. So not only could I not sell something in a different zip code, but I couldn't sell in a different city or market where Comcast wasn't available. And so the idea came to me, hey, listen, why don't I just represent every single national cable company, every single national phone and internet provider, and then that way, when somebody comes to me, I can give them options. Okay, so in Nashville, I can give them a Comcast option, an AT&T option, a DirecTV option, and I represent over 50 different carriers. So that was my idea. So it's kind of the same model as like an insurance broker. They represent multiple carriers, and then based on what the needs are for their client, they give them the options, right? So now I'm not necessarily a sales guy, I'm a consultant. So you can come to me and I can consult based on the needs that you have, and for me, based on what market you're in. So I started the company while I still worked at Comcast, and they found out. They found out. I had started the company about 3 months in, they found out. And one of my colleagues found out, and he told on me. Now, when y'all were in school, like grade school, did y'all like tattletellers? Like, I mean, like seriously, people who tattletale, I was, you know, it's interesting now because the guy who told my boss and his boss what was going on, I ran into him recently and at a conference, and I didn't even recognize him because he gained a lot of weight. And no, he did. He gained a lot of weight. But I didn't even recognize him. So he called my name. He said, "Hey, Bill." And I was like, "Gerald, is that you, man? I didn't even recognize you, you know?" But it was interesting because the first couple of months after I realized that he was the guy who told on me, I wanted to knock him out, right? But I just feel so grateful that he told on me now. But what happened is when they found out, my boss went to his door. I'm at my desk, and he says, "Hey, Bill, come here. I need to talk to you." And I knew something was wrong because usually my boss, you know, we were pretty good friends, right? And usually he would come up to my desk and talk to me and joke. And but so I went to his office, and the sales director is sitting in his office as well. And he says, "Listen, we understand that you started your own business, and we can't allow this to happen. This can't go on. You know, we're going to have to suspend you with pay. Okay, pending an investigation." And that was kind of funny to me because I was thinking, like, we had this conversation, and I said, "Listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be like totally transparent. I'm just going to tell them what I've been doing, and this is what I want to do." And he said, "Okay, we got to suspend you with pay. I need you to turn in your iPad and your laptop and your phone and all this stuff." And I was like, "Man, you know, why don't you just fire me? Because I told you what I'm doing. I admitted it. Why don't you just let me go?" He's like, "Well, you know, it's just a policy." So guys, this was on a Friday, right? And this was payday Friday, the second payday of Friday. So the second payday of Friday means that's the day that we got our commission check, okay? So when I had this job at Comcast, we had a base salary, right? But we also got a commission check once a month based on what we sold the previous month. So this was a day where I had a pretty fat check, okay, needless to say, all right? So I was making good money there. I had a nice check. So he told me, "Hey, we're going to have to suspend you." So I go home, and I think about this all weekend, right? And over the weekend, I just decide I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit, and I'm going to keep building my business. So that next Monday, I went back. I turned in 3 resignation letters, one to HR, one to my manager, and one to my sales director. And I said, "I'm out," you know. And I left the office and ran an appointment and closed one of my first deals for my business, okay? And I've been doing it ever since. So that was almost 5 years ago. And today we have over 1,200 customers from California to Pennsylvania and everywhere in between. And we have almost 300 partners. And I call them Mitech sales partners. And these partners are those IT guys. So almost every single day, we're reaching out to IT companies or IT consultants to enlist them or to try to contract with them so they can sell our telecommunication services on our platform through their company. When they do that, there you go. We pay them a commission, and because we get paid by the carrier, okay? So the carrier pays us. The cool thing about our model is the customer doesn't have to pay anything extra to do business with us. So they could call Comcast and get the same price as if they called us. But Comcast is going to pay us a recurring commission, meaning a percentage of their bill every single month, as long as they're a customer. Does that make sense? So it's pretty cool. And when a deal comes to us from a partner, one of our IT guys, we split that commission with the partner. So essentially what we're doing is adding a revenue stream to the IT partner's business. You know, so these IT guys, they generally focus on one segment or two segments of IT. It could be software or hardware, cabling, things like that, but they don't sell internet service. They don't sell phone service. They don't sell TV service. But they can now do that through us and generate another stream of revenue for their business, okay? So I really had to make the shift in terms of my mindset from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, all right? And I'm sure you guys being in this class are starting to develop the mindset of an entrepreneur. You got an entrepreneur teaching you, right? But I think it's a process, you know, it's a process, and a lot of it comes from experience. So what I really want to do is talk about real briefly, and then I'll take some questions from you guys. But I want to talk briefly about getting your PhD. Right? How many of y'all got a PhD? So your PhD. Listen, I'm going to give you a PhD by the end of the class. Is that cool? Y'all good with that? How many of y'all would like to have a PhD by the end of the class? I'm telling you, you're going to have it, okay? PhD is an acronym, okay, that I share with people, all right? So every week, y'all, look, check this out. Oh, he has my phone. But listen, somebody sent me a text message today, right? And I get these text messages every single week. So this young lady sent me a message, and she said, and she barely knows me, okay? We met at an event. She says, hey, can I sit down with you for coffee because I want to get your feedback on my business idea, and I want you to hold me accountable, right? This is what she's asking me. But people ask me things like this all the time, and sometimes I talk to them, and they're focused on the idea, they're focused on the product, they're focused on the service that they want to offer, right? And they think that their idea is amazing, okay? And they think that's the business. So I'm sure you guys already know, just because you have an idea doesn't mean you have a business, right? So everybody has a great idea. What's the saying about an idea? Anybody know? Anybody know like the crazy saying about an idea? Ideas are like what? Everybody has one? Ideas are like blank because everybody has one. Y'all don't know that saying? How old are y'all? So an idea means absolutely nothing, right? So in reality, when I talk to a lot of my associates or friends about their idea, being an entrepreneur, we ultimately end up talking about them getting their PhD, okay? So the P stands for psychology. I believe that you must develop an entrepreneur psychology or a winning psychology. So do you know that entrepreneurs think differently than employees? Y'all know that? So how do they think differently? Y'all give me some feedback. How do you think they think differently?
Think more independently.
They think more independently? Okay. So what does that mean?
Means that they hold themselves more accountable.
Yeah.
Whereas they may be getting instructions from an employer, now they're giving themselves instructions.
Absolutely.
Motivating themselves.
Yeah. So they're self-motivated. Is this chalk? Yeah. I'm good. No, I was like, dang, what did I pick up? Okay. Yes.
I was just going to say that they're in charge now and they have to dictate to others and they kind of have to do the leadership, whereas before they were the ones being told what to do.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing. So it's a leadership quality, right? Anybody else? Yes.
Probably harder for them to
follow rules that are,
Yeah, it's hard for them to follow rules. That is so true, man. Like my nephew, he don't follow no rules. You know, and I told my brother, I was like, he's gonna be an entrepreneur. Like, dude don't follow no rules. It reminds me of myself, right? I didn't follow any rules. In fact, when we were coming over here, we didn't even get her name, but I asked a lady, she happened to be an econ professor in this building. I said, can you direct us where Calhoun is? She said, I'm going to that building, follow me. So we walk, and we just start talking, and then we get here, she says, hey, y'all, take the steps up to the 3rd floor. And I was like, okay, thanks, appreciate you leading us. And he was like, where's the elevator? Like, we ain't taking no steps. It's just natural to me. I don't follow rules good. But anyway, what was I about to talk about, y'all? Okay, yeah. So let me, in terms of, we're talking about psychology, right? Okay? Psychology, your mindset, how you think. So, have you guys ever seen this graph before? Who's seen this? Oh, 2 people? This is amazing. Do y'all know what it means? You forgot? Yes? Remember? Maybe? Okay, so these are really 4 mindsets of business, okay? So the E stands for employee, the S stands for self-employed, the B stands for business owner, and the I stands for investor, okay? 4 ways that people think about how to make money. Now, most people are what? Employee. So most people are going to be here, meaning they work for somebody else. They work for a company, and they expect to get paid for the work that they do, okay? If they don't work, they don't get what? They don't get paid, right? But they expect to get paid. They expect benefits. They even expect a raise every year for doing the same work. So me and my wife, we got in an argument about that. My wife has a great job. She's a project manager for NES. And she was like, I hope I get my raise. I was like, well, wow, you get an annual raise? So what are you doing differently? She was like, it's just, I've always gotten a raise. Ever since I had a job, I got a raise. I get a 3 to 6% raise. It's like, but you're doing the same work. I'm thinking, you need to go sell something, don't you? You need a raise. Okay. But that's how employees think. So we're talking about mindset and psychology. A lot of employees think like that, okay? They expect to get a raise for doing the same work. Now, how do you think a business owner thinks about somebody who expects a raise for doing the same work? It's a total opposite. You need to do something else if you want some more money, right? Because that's what a business owner expects of themselves. But let's talk about self-employed. What's the definition? What is self-employed? What does that mean? Yes.
When you're self-employed, this is usually like your own boss. You kind of go out and you make your own contracts and work with different companies and things like that.
Yeah. So if you're self-employed, I like to call self-employed a specialist. Yes. Okay, yeah. So S could stand for specialist too. It also stands for smart. Like people who are self-employed, I mean, these are like lawyers. It could be a dentist. It could be an auto mechanic, right? Okay, but there's a difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. Okay, so a self-employed person will say, listen, if you want something done, you got to do what? Do it yourself, right? They're skilled people. They're super smart, okay? But they're not necessarily business owners. If they don't work, they're probably not making money. They usually own a job, okay? So that's the mindset of somebody who's self-employed. A business owner is somebody who builds systems. So the psychology of a business person is they may start off as somebody who's self-employed, but their goal is to get to the point where their business runs independent of themselves. Does that make sense? So they want to build systems and they want to build a team of smart people to run these systems. But the people who run the systems actually don't even have to be that smart. Because if you think about McDonald's has incredible systems, don't they? So every time you walk into McDonald's, where are the fries? The fries are always on the left. Y'all don't eat at McDonald's, do you? But the fries are always on the left, right? What does the cashier say when you walk into McDonald's? Welcome to, and what? Y'all don't eat at McDonald's, okay. What do they say at Chick-fil-A? Y'all look like Chick-fil-A people. At Chick-fil-A, when you say, hey, thank you for bringing me my food, what do they say? My pleasure. Now, how smart do you have to be to adapt to that brand, right? Not too smart. But there's systems in place. So teenagers run the systems at McDonald's. But that's what a business owner wants to put in place. They want to put systems in place so that anybody can run them. Does that make sense? And then they're making money independent of themselves. So they could go on a beach for 30 days and boom, they can still make money. Y'all feel me? So now a lawyer or a dentist or an auto mechanic could still be a business owner. I'll give you an example. There's a company in Nashville called Snodgrass. Snodgrass and, Snodgrass Dentistry. So Snodgrass is actually a dentist, right? But he owns multiple locations, all right? So he's hired dentists to work in, I think, 5 or 6 different locations, okay? And guess what? If he takes off, teeth are still getting pulled. It's still getting clean, right? Because he built systems and he built a business, all right? Now, I stands for what again? Investor. So an investor is somebody with a lot of money, okay, like this guy. No. But an investor is somebody with money who's going to invest in, you think an investor wants to invest in a self-employed person or invest in a business? A what? A business, right? Because they're really investing in systems, right? Because think about it. If you invest in an auto shop and you got one mechanic and he gets hit by a bus, guess what? Business is done, right? So the goal as an entrepreneur is to build a business or build systems that work independent of yourself. Y'all got it? Y'all feel me? All right, so that's a little bit about psychology in terms of getting your PhD. Now, the H stands for hustle. H stands for hustle, okay? So now when I was growing up, hustling had a negative connotation. We referred to it as somebody who was an illegal pharmaceutical salesperson, okay? That was somebody who was hustling. But now, over time, and I think the genre of hip hop has given hustle a better connotation. But hustling just means working hard, just putting in the work, right? So, I kid with people when I tell them, when I first started Mitech, I was working like crazy. I was working 8 to faint. But I tell people I worked 9 days a week, 30 hours a day. Because I didn't have a lot of money, I didn't have a lot of contacts, but what I did have was work ethic, right? I wasn't afraid to put in the work. And I knew how to get customers, and I knew that if I committed to the work, then I was going to see the results that I wanted to see, okay? So in retrospect, hey, listen, a lot of people have a great idea, right? But they're not willing to put in the work, or they're not committed to the work. So it takes a certain level of commitment. And I heard Steve Jobs say one time, you have to almost be insane, to commit to an idea, or to commit to your passion in your business, to bring it into reality. And I believe that. I remember working super hard, being a single dad at the time. I had custody of my 3-year-old son, and I was working like crazy. I would be on calls, and my son would be banging on my computer, And I remember one time I was on the call with somebody, and they said, hey, what's that noise? I was like, oh, it's my son. He said, oh, you bring your son to the office? That's so cool, And I was like, yeah. Bring my son to the office. So then I started including my son in every conversation. Yeah, let me get my son. Okay, what'd you say? Oh, your son, how old is he? Shooting pictures to him. But no, but your work is important. And I really believe that people should know you by your work ethic. People should really know you by your level of commitment to the work that you're doing. Because I remember when I was in college and, I really committed to doing a good job in college up until I was a senior, okay? So listen, y'all don't follow me, but up until I was, I was committed to school as a freshman, sophomore, and junior. And then I realized I am about to be an entrepreneur, and I'm about to make this thing happen. And by the time I was a senior, but I had committed to school so much, and I was so dedicated to making dean's list every semester that I had a reputation. And the professors in my department, they gave me a lot of leeway as a senior. And I barely showed up to class. It's crazy. I made dean's list both semesters as a senior, and I barely went to class. But what my point is, my work ethic preceded me. So as an entrepreneur, you got to put in the work. Y'all got to hustle. You got to hustle. You got to make it happen. So the P stands for what? And the H stands for, and then the D stands for what? Discipline. Or you going to say drive? Oh, I'll think about that later. Next presentation. But it stands for discipline. And I like to tell my team that discipline pays dividends. So I'm kind of a weird guy, and I believe that, when we discipline ourselves in a certain area of life, it spills over into other areas of life. So when I first started Mitech, I would work so hard. I'd be so disciplined in my mind that I would block everything else out that could distract me. So my girlfriend at the time, who later became my wife, if she called me, I wouldn't answer the call. If I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't eat until I set a certain amount of appointments or made a certain amount of calls. I even fasted for a week. Some of y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. I am crazy. No, but sometimes I would fast, or I wouldn't eat meat, or I would do things like that to try to discipline or strengthen my discipline muscle, okay? Because I figured it would spill over into my business, and it really did, and it helped me to become disciplined when I was engaging customers or potential partners, okay? So, but my point is, guys, that's your PhD. These are the things that I end up talking to individuals about outside of just their idea. Now, when you couple all that with an amazing idea and an amazing business model, I think that you hit a home run. You hit a home run because, if you have something solid and on top of that, if you build an amazing team, you're going to do some amazing things. But it starts with who you are as a person. That's one of the main things I learned about being an entrepreneur. It's really about personal growth. It's really about personal development. So you must become a better person, and then you can do better things, okay? So a lot of people start at ground zero, and they don't realize that they have to develop certain qualities. They have to develop the right psychology. They have to develop hustle. They have to develop discipline. Okay? Because if you got the great idea and you got all the resources in the world, if you don't have those things, then you're not going to move forward. You're not going to, maximize whatever resources you do have. Okay? So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Are there any questions? Are there any feedback or anything you guys want? I'm going to stand right here, y'all. I think I feel some air.
Say a bit about how you grow the company.
Yeah. How did I grow my company? That's what you asked me, right? Now, I can't believe y'all ain't got a whiteboard in here.
No, this is old-fashioned.
All right, so my company is, I used to say it was unique, but I don't think it's as unique anymore because I see more companies doing this, but I think every company should do what we do. Our business model is to find more partners, right? And the way we grow our company is, let's say we got customers over here. The way we're going to grow our company is to get more customers, right? We want as many customers as we can get. So how do we get these customers, right? And by the way, we got some cool customers, right? Like Holiday Inn, NES, U.S. Army. So we got some cool customers, right? But most of our customers, I have never spoken to. I'm good? I think it may be better. We've never spoken to our customers. Why? Because our customers come from our partners, right? So remember I was talking about these IT partners? So in my mind, these guys right here are really our customers, our partners, all right? So these IT consultants or these IT firms are referring customers to us on a daily basis. So they're sending us, they lead us to these customers, right? And then in turn, we get some money. And then we share some of that with the partner, okay? So you guys tell me, how would we grow the company? More partners? Absolutely. So we want to find more partners. Okay? So we have almost 300 partners. Okay? And what's cool about it is a lot of the partners that reach out to us now find us online. They find us either on YouTube or they find us on Google. Okay? Or it's a referral from another partner. All right? But when I first started building the company, the way I would find a partner is how? I talked about this, right? Making calls, but when I would sign up a customer, I would ask them what? Who's your IT guy, right? So that's the easiest way really to find a partner. If the partner didn't already come from an IT guy, when we sign up a customer, we want to find out, hey, who's your IT guy? What firm do you use for IT? All right? So the challenge now, we have 300 partners, but you think all these partners are sending us deals? No, they're not. Some of them are just flat out a waste of time, okay? It's free to sign up with us. They can just sign up on our website. They get a welcome kit, a packet in the mail. They can fill out the contract and send it back to us. Boom, they're a partner. So it doesn't cost them anything, right? And we're not spending a lot of time with them, but it's about 20% of our partners that we really engage with consistently, all right? So the challenge now is to find the top 20 percenters, or I even want to say the 10 percenters, because these are the partners who are sending us the best quality deals, and they're sending us the most deals more frequently, okay? So we want to find those partners. So we want to find out, hey, what does that partner look like? Our top 10% of partners, what do they look like? And we found a couple of things, a couple of characteristics that identify those partners. Number one, it's an IT firm and not an IT person, okay? Because a lot of our partners are IT consultants. They're one owner operator, right? So they may work out of their house or they may have an office, but it's just them as a team, right? Or they may have an assistant. But if it's an IT firm and they have salespeople, one of our biggest partners is a company called His Call in Dixon, Tennessee. They got 15 salespeople. And they have two offices, one here in Dixon and one in Knoxville. So it's one of our biggest partners. And they sent us some pretty cool deals. A couple of big banks, the U.S. Army came from His Call. So those are the types of partners that we're looking to connect with. Another thing is if a IT company focuses on a certain vertical, okay? Our largest partner is a company called Spoka, and they only do IT work for hotels. And they only do one thing for hotels. They build the Wi-Fi network. So if you stay in a hotel and you get on the Wi-Fi, they're one of the companies that builds that Wi-Fi network. They install the equipment and they support it. And that's all they do. So it's interesting though, because at Spoka, even though they install this equipment, they never sold their customer internet service. So they just connect into the existing internet service at that property. So when I came to them and said, listen, you could actually make money on the internet too. They were like, really? Yeah, right? So they started sending us internet business, but obviously at hotels, they have TV service and they have phone service too. So now we're doing really cool deals. I think we have probably close to 50 hotel customers because of Spoka, So so obviously, like I said, now the challenge is to find our best partners or those top 10 percenters and what they look like. And then when we identify them, we want to engage them like crazy. One of them, I had lunch with one of our partners today at Husk. Y'all ever been to Husk? Y'all like it? Who's had the burger at Husk? That burger was ridiculous. Yeah. The burger was so ridiculous, I left and I went and took a nap in my car. Okay, 20 minutes. Then I got back at it. But yeah, so we want to engage them. We want to have conversations with them, and we want to find out how to make them money. Okay, because what we realized is if we figure out how to make the partners more money, meaning through our system here, then guess what? They're going to send us more deals. Okay, so our goal is to add massive value to our partners. So that's how we want to grow the company.
About the notion, I'm talking really about the idea of this, I mean, it's a great model, is what do you, and that particularly, I'm going to say that 80-20 or 90, that's really where your revenues come from.
Yeah.
Where are, in terms of, and that's your business model, your working part of it, where are most of your costs? And the things you talk about, what does it cost me to run this thing, and then what's the, and so that you're putting your spend in the right place. Talk a little bit about what are your biggest costs in running this kind of business.
Yeah. So that's the cool thing about it. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but our costs are going to be in. So we have a lot of landing pages up where we attract partners. Okay, y'all know what landing pages are? Okay. So we have a ton of those out, and we did some really slick videos too. So some videos for partners and talking about our program and how they can add this revenue stream. But the other cost, the main cost though, is it's not payroll because these aren't employees, but when we split the commission with the partners, okay? So I'll give you an example. We represent all these carriers, right? So Comcast, AT&T, and we have a contract with them, and they agree to pay us a percentage of every customer's bill as long as they're an active customer. So that percentage is anywhere from 14 to 25%. Okay? So if we're getting 14 to 25% of the bill every month, and the deal came from a partner, we're going to split that 50-50 pretty much with the partner. Okay? So just recently, we set up, I don't even think I told you about this, but we set up a new commission option, okay? Because some partners would send us a deal, and let's say the deal is, $500 a month. Customers paying $500 a month. Well, if you're getting 14% of that, what's 14% of that? Real quick. It's about what, $60-something dollars? 65? About $70? Okay. So the partner, so we get 14% is $70. So we got to split that. So the partner gets $35 a month. Okay? Now, if you sent this deal to us, now you got your own IT business, right? But you send us this deal, and then you get $35 a month. Some partners aren't excited about it at all. They're like, oh man, $35 a month, man, So what we do now is we'll agree to pay you half of this up front. We'll pay you $250. Okay? But we'll keep the whole 14%. Okay? So if you need some right now money, okay, we'll keep this whole residual and we'll pay you 50% of this is called the MRC, monthly recurring cost. Okay? So that's something that we do with a couple of partners now. All right? And I'm willing to do that because my company's going to keep the whole percentage here, the whole monthly residual. All right? But in terms of cost, that's our biggest cost, obviously. And as we grow, we want to be able to add more services to our portfolio. So one thing that we're doing now, when I first started the company, we would send customers to the carrier. So for example, if we signed up a Comcast customer, we do the paperwork for the customer, send it to Comcast, and Comcast would go do the install. All the carriers do their own install. And then Comcast would bill the customer every month, right? And as they pay Comcast, Comcast would pay us our percentage every month. Well, what we're doing now, we started doing this about 1.5 years ago. We still send the paperwork to Comcast. Comcast does the install, but instead of Comcast billing the customer, we actually bill the customer. Okay? Now, the reason we want to do that now is because it's going to further brand our company. So every month they're going to see Mitech instead of Comcast. They're going to realize they're a Mitech customer and not a Comcast customer. Okay? And should something go wrong, should something change later on, and let's say they open a new location or they want to change services, they can change providers with us. They in their mind, they don't think I'm a Comcast customer, they think I'm a Mitech customer. And we stay top of mind with them through some type of correspondence to let them know, hey, you've always got options, and we try to educate them on how to engage us, right? But even further than that, when we have the customers, that what we want to do is be able to add services. So now what we're doing is managing all of their telecommunication services for an additional fee. Okay, so instead of just signing a customer up, letting the carrier bill them, now we can sign the customer up. We're going to bill you, but if anything goes wrong, you have an outage, there's latency in your phone calls, something is just array, then guess what? You can reach out to us. You can reach out to Mitech, and we're going to pick up the phone in 2 rings. You can fill out a trouble ticket on our website. You don't have to be on hold with Comcast and go through a big phone tree and be on hold and deal with lousy customer service, okay? But we do charge for that, right? So we can add that charge on our bill, and that also increases our percentage as well. Yes.
So you almost insourcing the technology needs. So like instead of being on hold, are you training your people to be able to deal with those basic issues?
Yeah. So it's really interesting, man, but it's a really simple process. So what we do is we outsource a call center. Okay, call center is downtown Nashville. It's on Dedrick Street, and they are trained to take the support calls or the trouble calls. So it's an 800 number that the customer will call. They pick up the phone, say, "Hey, this is Mitech support. How can I help you? And what's your issue?" Right? So if it's hey, I got an outage. What's your company name? What's your account number? Okay, we're going to shoot this to the support team. They're going to jump on it. So when they do that, the call comes to one of two of our support people. They pick it up. They call the carrier and say, "Hey, we need to dispatch a tech, or we need to get a tech to troubleshoot remotely." So it's that simple. So the cool thing about it is each carrier provides us with tools or a support team. Okay, so we have tools that the typical customer doesn't have. So they should be calling us anyway, but what we're trying to do is scale it, to make it so to the point where we can take hundreds of calls. So that's why we kind of outsourced the call center to do that. Yes, any other questions? Any other preguntas? So check this out, I got a question. By the way, I wrote a book. I released it about 30 days ago. It's called Get Off Your Assets, okay? And it is the story that kind of what I just told you earlier. Yeah, story of me building this business, the struggles, and the progress that we've made. But I got a question for you. I'm going to give this book away. Who wants this book? Okay. There's a few people in here who don't want it. All right, so here's my question. Y'all ready? All right, here's a question. You ready? Okay. What's PhD stand for? Mm-hmm. What does PhD stand for? Huh?
Are you asking me?
I'm just asking. I mean, there it is. See, y'all acting like employees. Y'all raising your hand. You're trying to be orderly. Yeah. You got to step out. All right. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys listening to me ramble. But hopefully, I said something that was beneficial for you to give you some insight, into my mind as an entrepreneur, or my perspective at least. And feel free to, I'm going to leave some cards here. Those are not mine. But I'll leave some cards to reach out to me if you guys want to email me or whatever. And later on, my office is down at I work out at the EC, the Entrepreneur Center. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
It's an interesting sort of thing. His office, he started his company in the Entrepreneur Center, and he was sort of came out of that nursery and started it there. He's still there. He now rents 4 desks or 5 desks, is that right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
so the idea is keeping your overhead low you build what's essential to your business model. If it's not essential to your business model, don't build sort of palaces to things that don't make money for you. So you can really grow
Oh,
in
yeah.
that regard, being highly, highly disciplined.
Yeah. Because I have friends who were working down at the EC with me, and one of them, it's got a cool company. They run an IT staffing company. And one day he came to me, he said, hey man, we're moving out. I was like, oh, where you going? He said, we're going to WeWork. I said, oh man, y'all must got a good deal, man. He said, we did, man, only $3,100 a month. I was like, okay, you're paying like $600 down here, and you're gonna pay $3,100. I was like, man, okay. He said, yeah, but we got the first month free. I said, but not the second month. You got to keep paying. But anyway, yeah, I'm a firm believer in, my wife calls it being cheap, but I call it, just being disciplined, I would rather spend more money hiring somebody than just getting space, you know what I mean? And the EC is a cool place. It's a great place. Great place to network. It's a good community. So, yeah. If you haven't been down there, go down there at some point. Check it out. Where are you guys from, though? All over the place?
Yeah.
Okay.
California,
Texas.
Michigan in the building. All right. Ohio State fan? Oh, you're not? Okay. I went to Fisk University. Y'all ever heard of Fisk before? Yeah, I went to Fisk, yeah. Now, I graduated in '98. Can y'all believe that? Yeah.
they've got a really, I don't know.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're not bad enough. They've got a career fair, which is kind of a once a year kind of a big thing. So I'm gonna I told them I would let them go.
Okay.
I would call time out on you.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a pleasure. What's up, man?
You like tennis?
I don't think so.